G'day everyone, welcome back to Controlled Recoil. So in this video we will be reviewing the Mars MT1000 from OneLeaf. This is their thermal imaging scope. So it's packed with a host of different features, from laser rangefinders, we have interchangeable lens systems and a lot of ballistic software as well built in internally. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stick around. Okay, so we'll dive straight into this, but before that, just a reminder, if you are in the draw to win the meat animal hunt, so if you are someone who's contributed to the super thanks on the channel over the last wee while, make sure you stick around to the end because we will be doing that giveaway for that meat animal hunt to those 3 lucky winners. So thank you very much for all the support, and we will catch up about that at the end of this video. So moving on to the unit here. So this unit's from OneLeaf. This is the details there, and I must say, very good simple instructions that came with it, which is handy. However, I didn't have to use it too much because they are quite simple units to navigate. We'll start up at the front here and finish at the rear of the optic, starting with the covers. It comes with a nice quality cover up front. It's a permanent style cover. You can manipulate the different positioning of this cover depending on your preference, and that locks back there. But obviously great that it comes with these. Protecting your glass is important. So this is a detachable lens. It is the 50mm lens. This is a 2.8 times zoom with that lens, and obviously with the addition of the digital zoom within the unit, which brings you to about 22 times zoom all up. I believe if you're using the 35mm lens, you obviously have a wider field of view when you're using this. So this is better for those situations where you're maybe sneaking up on a mob of pigs and you might end up with running shots happening, or something where you have multiple targets and you need that wider field of view. So this is a 2 times zoom rather than the 2.8, with a maximum zoom using the digital zoom as well, up to 16 times. So 22 for this, 16 times for the smaller lens, but you do get that wider field of view. I did end up using the 50mm most of the time, just due to the terrain I'm in. You do have the opportunity for some of those longer shots, but we did shoot some animals in close at around 60 and 70 meters, and it performed very well there as well. We have a focus adjustment here just behind the lens, and this is knurled. That's very easy to manipulate, and yeah, it's in a very natural position too as you're scanning around to be focusing the unit if needed. That was only really required when you were having big variations in distance too. For the most part, you didn't need to move around too much at all, which was a nice feature. I do like the orientation of the unit, having the battery and laser rangefinder on the left hand side, leaving less bulk over your bolt operation and ejection port, things like that. Moving back to the center here, we've got the turret. This is one of the main controls of the unit, and this is something I really liked about this unit. This was very simple to use, easy to manipulate in the field even when you're wearing gloves, and easy to find up on top rather than trying to muck around with too many buttons and stuff like that. So easy to not have that type of thing, especially when you're wearing gloves. So being able to just reach up here and manipulate that. This controls the zoom in and zoom out feature when you're scanning around, as well as one quick click down activates the rangefinder, more on that shortly, and then holding it down exits from that. So very simple to use. It is the same thing when you enter into the menu system. It's a simple drop down menu system that we've come to know from OneLeaf. Very simple, very fast to use, which I like. And this simply was your scroll down and scroll up, with one click being select and the hold down to exit the menu. So very simple to use and easy to find in the dark, even if you didn't have the buttons and stuff backlit, which you can light up or not light up depending on your preference. There's a lot of these features that you can turn off and on depending on how much data you want in your viewfinder at any given time. So the beauty of digital technology, I guess. We then have the port here. This is where you have your SD card and your charging USB-C style charger. This is great, so you can usually charge this on the go as well, whether you're using it or whether it's in the vehicle or something like that. It's great to be able to get power to that and keep it topped up. However, I found the battery to be very good. Get a full day out of operating this, no problem. I will say that in colder conditions, like all batteries, you do have a bit of suffering on performance, but any battery system has this when you're in extreme cold. I have put this through its paces. It has been out in some very, very nasty weather, rain, snow, things like that. I have not had an issue with it. It's been really good. Now, I haven't submerged it or done anything crazy like that, but the adverse weather that you'd usually experience on hunting trips, it has held up to just fine, and there seems to be no premature wear on the unit at all, which is really nice as well. The finish is really nice, and it seems to be relatively scratch resistant, as I have put it through its paces and there's nothing really showing on here of any significance. So we'll then go and talk about, it's got 3 buttons on the top here. So we've got a video function as well as a still image function. This is really nice. I like the fact that you can play back the video on the unit itself. You don't have to plug this in. This allows you to play back the video in the field. And as I've said before, with some of these units using things at night and recovering animals, having that video function playback in the field can be really helpful going and finding the animal. So replaying that shot, being able to get landmarks and see what happens. So really happy that they've still got that in this unit. We've got our palette selection. This is the image and the color coding that is used in the image. So when we're talking about palette selection, this gives you a range of different options to suit the environment, and this will allow you to maximize your experience of detecting those animals out of different types of terrain. Obviously heat, being a thermal, it will pick up signatures off rocks and other things in the area, so being able to tune this really helps you get the best out of it to identify animals out of the environment. So you have like a dark color hot or a light color hot, along with sepia and all sorts of different color coding. Those 3 were my favorite to use. I found them the most effective, but there is a range of different palettes there, and you will find one that will suit your environment. So really nice to have that, and plenty of options there. The resolution and image quality is fantastic. I've been lucky enough to put this up against some of the other leading brands in the market, not all of them, but most of them, and it has performed very, very well. In most cases, I actually found this to be more clear. Very sharp image in this compared with some of the other ones have a very soft type image. This, having that sharper image, I found is easier to actually identify the animal, not just see an animal that is present, but also actually identify it as deciding whether it's a goat, deer, pig, that sort of thing. And that extra little piece of clarity that this has, I believe, had the edge, in my opinion. This fine focus here at the front, very nice that you don't have to twist it too far to get there. Quite a lot of change, so it is quite a fine focus. This is nice that you're not having to really twist it around as you pan through different terrains at different distances. So yeah, detection range was fantastic, and the resolution and image quality was very, very good in my opinion. Really enjoyed using it. It is definitely a different type of feel. You can tell the technology in these comparing with others. There is a different viewing experience, so it is a little bit different to others. It's sort of hard to describe, but I'll put in, obviously roll the footage in here, and you can see just how clear it is. Very, very high contrast. Of course, you can adjust all of this in the menu as well for your viewing experience that you want. So a lot of features inside here to really customize that experience, along with the terrain button here. So this allows you to select bush mode or snow, rain, that sort of thing, and this maximizes the performance in different conditions. So I'm really happy that they have those features. Very, very impressive. Now, if you've already bought one of these, there is another update available. So to update these, it's incredibly simple. obviously save all the photos on your memory card. You then format it, take the memory card out, put it in your computer, go to the official OneLeaf website and go to your updates, download that onto the card, put the card back in, turn it on, it will automatically run the update, and then you simply format the card once it's finished and you're ready to go again. So very, very simple to update these units, and it's nice that OneLeaf allows you to keep the technology current and keep benefiting from the new and improved modes and things that are available. So really, really happy with that. Yeah, like I say, the performance was fantastic. Now obviously having such a compact unit, this thing's only is the length of my hand, and because of that I've actually been able to use it like a monocular as well. I can simply take this mounting system off and it fits into a chest pocket on a jacket, no problem. So it's quite a nice feature to be able to go between a dedicated long range scope for sort of the more extreme ranges of hunting and be able to put this on and swap out at any time and be able to actually use it as a monocular as well. Just due to the size, it's a lot more practical to stow away rather than some of the larger scopes that you do see. So I did like that it's nice and compact. This also allows it to be easier to mount on all sorts of different units, including something small like a 22 or something like that for night shooting rabbits or things like that. So I believe it sort of adds a bit of versatility having that more compact unit. We have a laser rangefinder on the side here. This is also operated by our main selecting system, so a short click for that when you're in scanning mode to bring up your laser rangefinder. The performance of this was really good. I tested it against my dedicated Leica rangefinder and also a pair of SIG binoculars, SIG 3000s. So it was nice to have that comparison with them. As far as the accuracy of it goes, I was getting the same similar ranges within the normal tolerances of a rangefinder between the three different units. So the accuracy was right there with some of those other brands as well. I know that there's better ways to measure the accuracy of a rangefinder, but that was the most practical way I had out in the field. And I found it to be, you know, like I say, within that sort of 5 to 10 meters of what I was getting between the three units. I believe most rangefinders out to that 1,000 yards are plus or minus 5 meters, so all within that usual tolerance that you would get, and it's performed very well. So this has a detection range out to 1,300, and yeah, I think it's a really neat feature to have on the device and quite important when you're operating at night. I think it's very easy to look at these images and it's hard to judge range at night, so having a laser rangefinder is definitely beneficial. And this also teams up really nicely with their ballistics program. So this has an internal ballistics program where you can enter your bullet weight, BC, velocity and things like that to have an accurate compensation of bullet drop in the unit. So very impressed with that, and a really good feature to have. The reticles in here, you have a selection of different reticles, and it's nice to see proper reticles with actual measurements on them. And this makes it very fast that if you are shooting at a multiple mob of animals there, if you have multiple targets, it means that you can go between these very easily and not have to wait to range them. You can simply use holdover as well accurately with a reticle like that with actual measurements. So I do like that, and I did use that feature a lot. Generally, I was shooting from 0 to 300 yards at night. I found that that was probably as far as I like to shoot at night. 300 yards is a long way when you're shooting at night. You're remembering that you've still got to go across and find that animal. So that was as far as I did shoot, but the capability of detection and everything is obviously a lot further than that. I was picking up animals at around, it says 1900 for the detection range, or just shy of 2,000 yards, and I would say that that is correct. The rangefinder obviously goes to 1,300, but you can see animals a long way out, and I would say that I agree with that specification there. I have definitely detected animals at that distance. However, being able to actually discern between a deer and a goat and things like that, you're probably in a lot closer at that 800 to 1,000 mark, maybe a little closer depending on the conditions of where they are, things like that, which is still obviously a very long way. And to those shootable distances, in my opinion, you know, to that 3 to 500 being a maximum in most conditions, are more than capable of clearly identifying the target. So very impressed with that. Obviously with digital zoom you get a wee bit of pixelation and image quality towards the higher end of that magnification, and I only really found that I needed to go sort of maybe 5 times in the digital zoom to 6 times to really get accurate target acquisition at the out to sort of 300. So it was a very good combination with plenty more to give if you wanted to shoot further, but just bear in mind that there can be a little more pixelation depending on the environment and image, things like that. Overall though, clarity really good. So some really good features there. I will talk about the mounting system. So I thought it was very good for them to go with a Picatinny rail. It also has a built-in locking lug. This, in my opinion, Picatinny rails are the most versatile out of mounting systems because you can also operate another dedicated long-range scope with QD rings and be able to quickly deploy either on the Picatinny rail and easily interchange them. And so having a Picatinny rail as the basis for both systems can really be helpful. So when you are using optics that specialize in nighttime or daytime, in this case it's both, but certainly I think that most people will be using this at night, as thermal does perform better at night just due to the environment cooling down a little bit. So being able to change between the two with the base being a Picatinny rail is really, it's versatile, it's quick, it's simple, and it allows you to set the unit up in the correct positioning for your eye relief and length of pull. So lots of options there, which is nice. One thing I would like to see is I would like to see a left and right-handed mount. So in other words, just these bolts on this side. Being a right-handed shooter in general, having the operating systems coming from the right-hand side, the bolt and ejection, things like that, it would be nice to see an option where these bolts are on the other side to try and keep that surface clean. Now, I didn't have any problems with this, so it is a bit of a picky thing to bring up. However, you know, it is something to consider if you're operating gloves or wanting to single feed after you've used your mag, things like that. I do like to see that surface clean around the operating area. So maybe if they made a left-handed and right-handed mount, so these can be on either side to suit whatever rifle system you're using, that might be a good option. Again, a bit of a non-issue because I didn't have any problems with it, but it's just nice to keep that surface clean. The other thing that I wish they did was put another cap similar to this on the rear. This did come with a cover, but it was a rubberized cover that simply popped off and wasn't attached to the unit, so easy to put on during transit and things like that. But when you're out in the field, it is sometimes really nice to have that reliable system covering up your glass and looking after your optic. It does come with attachments, so there is a thread here in the back which you can thread on these type of attachments here. I didn't actually use them, but it's nice to have those options, and these come with the unit. So it's nice to see different attachments coming with the unit already to suit different needs. But because of that thread in there, I figured it wouldn't be too hard to make a cap, a proper flip cap like this, for those people who wanted to operate it clean like this with those threads available. All in all, very impressed. Like I said, it held up against some the other brands that I tested very, very well, and in most cases, from what I've seen, it's performing better than some of those other leading brands. So pretty impressive for OneLeaf to come out and straight away be heading for the top of the pile. Really clever designs, and the clarity and resolution was impressive. So very happy with that. No problem with recoil or losing zero, so that was nice. I've had this mounted on a 308 mostly, so there has been a little bit of recoil to contend with. I haven't had it on anything larger than that, but there's no reason to think that there would be any issues there. Like I say, mounting system worked really well, especially having that integrated locking lug. I really like that that's on there, but yeah, just would be nice to have the bolts on the other side for me personally. If you guys are interested in purchasing this, there will be a link in the description below to their official website, along with a 5% discount code. I think it's really important to let you guys know that there are affiliate links to these products sometimes, and I have been offered that, and I hope it's no disrespect to OneLeaf, but I've opted not to have an affiliate link. The reason for that is because I'm doing a review, I feel it's a conflict of interest to be getting paid from, I guess, sales after giving reviews. So I'll never take money for reviews, guys. It's not the way I operate. If I'm just using a product, or if there's sponsorship, maybe, but when it comes to actually reviewing products, I will tell you if I'm getting paid. Okay, so there's been no money exchanging hands for this, and I will not be adding the affiliate link, but I'm happy for the 5% discount, of course, for you guys to benefit from. So I just thought I'd put that in there, to each their own. This isn't a dig at anybody, and like I say, I hope OneLeaf doesn't take offense to that, but I just feel that that would be a conflict of interest to be doing a review and getting money from sales after the fact. So I've opted out of that one, but there is that 5% discount code, so make the most of that if you are planning on buying this. I think last time I checked, these retail between about $3,000 and $3,500 New Zealand, so obviously the price is in other currencies on their website, so just check out wherever you're buying it from. Make sure you sort of do your calculation there and select the right dollar that you're paying in to make sure that you get what you expect. But for me, that is pretty awesome value for money when you consider some of the other brands and what they're selling for. To have something like this that's sitting right in that same value and quality, to have the value of something that's, you know, up to like several $1,000s less than some of the other ones is pretty darn good, I think. Thanks very much, guys. Now we're going to move on to the giveaway. Obviously, leading up to this, if you've been following the channel, you would have known there's been a giveaway to those of you who contribute to the Super Thanks. There was a meat animal hunt to win, so there'll be 3 winners. The first winner will be whoever contributed the most, so there'll be that, and then there's a draw for 2 more people, which is a lucky draw, obviously. So thank you very much for everyone who's contributed. We will draw the winners now and do that, so you guys know who you are. Very excited. Good luck. Okay, guys, so now we will be doing the draw for the winners of the meat animal hunt. First up, I'd like to thank Hayden-K-D. So Hayden, congratulations, you're the one who contributed the most, so a massive thank you, and yeah, you've won yourself a meat animal hunt. So the rest of it, we've got a bunch of names in the container here. We're going to shake these up a bit, and we will, we'll see who is in the draw to win. Andy Stevenson, 9383. Well done, Andy. You've won yourself a meat animal hunt. And the third and final. Jordan Eagle, 6388. Well done, Jordan. You've won yourself a meat animal hunt. So they're our 3 winners. Thank you to everyone who contributed there. I know there's a lot of names in the container, so thanks very much for all the support, and we will be running another one of these in the future. So yeah, massive thank you, and a massive thank you to OneLeaf for sending us the unit. So yeah, website link in the description, and the discount code in the description as well. Check it out, and yeah, thank you very much. Stay safe out there. We'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.